Capital News tonight. Members of Parliament call on the government to take economic measures due to the coronavirus outbreak. Some boda drivers entering Dar es Salaam city centre have been implicated in criminal activities. And in sports, role ball players in the country have called on stakeholders to support development of the sport. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. Some members of parliament have called on the government to come up with special strategies aimed at giving economic support to Tanzanians and ensure there is sufficient food reserves, as many business activities have started to be affected by the coronavirus outbreak.
Serikali bado hatujaona jitihada za dhati za kuhakikisha ugonjwa huu unadhibitiwa.
We have not yet seen stern measures of ensuring that this disease is controlled.
Lakini sisi rais ametuambia kwamba jambo hili tumkabidhi Mungu.
Honorable President has urged us to give this matter to God. With all prayers done by all mosques and churches, I believe this matter shall end.
Na watu wanavyotuomba masema makanisa yote na misikiti yote iombe janga hili lipite na imani litapita.
Tanzania People's Defense Force TPDF has started to take deliberate measures to prevent infection of the coronavirus amongst recruits during training and other military duties. This was said by the head of Kihangaiko Military Training School, Colonel Sijaona Miala, during a training at Msata in Bagamoyo District Coast Region.
Makao makuu ya jeshi yalishatoa maelekezo kwamba tunaendelea na mafunzo.
The Army headquarters have already given directives to continue with training, but that we should ensure we follow all procedures by the Ministry of Health on the coronavirus. Because we are all in here, it is easy for us to control ourselves. Often, in military training, there must be realism, so that when you need to be used as a soldier, you can perform well and bring victory in war.
Wakati wote tukiwa kwenye mazoezi huko.
Now, a day after the government in Dar es Salaam region allowed motorcycle, popularly known as boda and bajaji taxis into the city centre in order to address the problem of congestion of passengers in commuter buses, some of the motorcycle drivers have been alleged to engage in criminal activities as well as violate road safety regulations. The regional commissioner has already made a decision which is actually quite helpful to residents. But if we look at security issues, especially in town, there are thieves who carry out their criminal activities by using motorbikes, and such malicious work is done by people from outside the city. I think something must be done to address the situation because theft incidents have begun. The new drivers have no good experience with the town roads. We have seen how they have been struggling and even caused accidents. Many of them are intelligent drivers since they do not adhere to road safety uses, nor wear helmets, with others engage in stealing activities. Staying at my station, I can collect between 17 to 20,000 shillings. But since other motorbikes and Bajaj are now coming to town, then it has indeed become chaos. What we used to earn right now is impossible because our fellows are abled, meaning they have been helping passengers carrying luggages and begin their journey. I am disabled. I can't run to help passengers. We shall suffer. I am not satisfied with the decision made by the regional commissioner.
Na kubeba ule mzigo tayari hapo mwenzangu anapakia anaondoka, mimi nabakia hapa.
The sixth witness for the defense in the sedition case facing the leader of ACT Wazalendo Zitto Kabwe, Gerald Ibrahim, has told Kisutu resident magistrate court in Dar es Salaam how he witnessed between 18 and 20 bodies in the bush at Mpeta village in Kigoma region. He told the court that clashes between the police and residents were caused by a land dispute, and that 16th of October in 2018, in the early hours of the morning, he heard gunfire shots at Mpeta village, causing people to disperse and run amok. He said the incident caused a death whereby he witnessed 4 dead bodies and that he had attended their funerals. The witness also told the court that 2 police officers died in the incident, whom he identified as Inspector Ramadhani and Corporal Moody. The case has been adjourned until April 3rd. Now, moving on, residents in Mlowa village near the road to Mvumi Mission in Chamwino district, Dodoma region, have taken part in repairing the bridge connecting Chamwino and Dodoma district after passenger vehicles and cargo lorries got stranded along the road for more than 2 days.
Even ambulances cannot pass through this area because it has become so bad that expectant mothers at times give birth on the other side where vehicles stop during the rainy season. The challenge posed by this road has been a big one for us. Passing through this road would take 1 hour, but now it takes up to 4 hours, and at other times it is completely impassable. Sleeping on the road, people's goods being rained on, vehicles breaking down, this happens a lot. What you see here are efforts made by the residents. There is a hospital here, but it gets to a point when relatives go to take the body of the deceased loved one, the water is full, forcing them to go and take the deceased body by motorcycle so as to cross, which is not a good thing.
Government leaders from Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar have attended the burial of senior journalist from Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation TBC Marine Hassan Marine at Mwanakwerekwe Cemetery in Zanzibar. Among government leaders present were Dr. Harrison Mwakembe, the Minister of Information, Arts and Sports from Tanzania mainland, and the Minister of Information and Tourism from Zanzibar, Hamad Thabit Kombo.
His talent was seen very early on. He was very creative, and as the director said, we will remember him, and he will continue to live on with us, and we celebrate his life and contribution to both governments and the country. Those of you who remain must ensure the quality of work left by the deceased at the national station is not reduced, so you must work harder. Marine was beloved by all the leaders of this country. Others who heard the speech by the Prime Minister of Tanzania in Parliament yesterday when delivering his budget estimates also heard him mention the deceased and the big void he has left behind. He joined Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation in 2005 as a journalist and later advanced to become a senior reporter.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Now, moving on, some residents from Nyangwale district, Geita region have started to run from strangers coming from neighboring district who visit their homes or areas to access social services due to fear of getting infected with the coronavirus. The Chief Medical Officer, District Council, Dr. Bakari, said that they have started to address the problem through public education.
When customers come, we tell them to put the money on the ground, and then we pick it up, and then they take the potatoes and go. Group gatherings are forbidden, and there should not be a gathering of more than 10 people. So, I call on the public to suspend auctions, and other marketplaces with large gatherings should put a stop to it in order to fight against this dangerous disease. We reach community members and engage them to ensure they learn and apply this knowledge in the environment they live in.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows next. And in international news, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the number of confirmed coronavirus cases have come up to 123, with 6 reported deaths from the virus. Most of the cases have been reported in Kinshasa.
We should prevent the coronavirus from spreading by washing our hands and not physically greeting each other. The virus is here, and that is why, through various preventative measures, we should try to make people wash their hands so that they know it is important to protect themselves, as a cure has not been found yet.
The government of Rwanda has extended lockdown measures due to increase in the number of coronavirus cases, which have gone up from 75 to 82. The previous lockdown was to have ended this Friday, but it has now been extended to April 19th this year. Shops that sell non-food items, places of worship, entertainment areas, and schools have been badly affected by the lockdown.
Yes, this is my 13th day over here, and over my 13 days I am asymptomatic, which means that there were no symptoms. I still don't feel anything, so I'm pretty positive that I have been cured and I've been taken care of, and potentially in the next few days they will conduct more tests to see whether I am still positive or negative. And yeah, I'm being very positive about it and making sure that I will be with my family in the next coming days.
The first 2 days I had a little bit cold. Right now, no fever. The 3 times a day the temperature. It's all normal. It's all. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Now, the number of confirmed cases, coronavirus cases rather, in Kenya have risen by 29, bringing the total number in the country to 110. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said on Thursday that 28 Kenyans and 1 Congolese national had tested positive for the new coronavirus.
As I directed earlier this week, all border riders and their passengers, with only one, must wear protective masks. I further direct that all tuk-tuk drivers, all matatu drivers and their passengers within the matatu should are advised to adhere to this directive. If you are getting into a matatu, you are advised to wear a mask. If you are going to ride a tuk-tuk, you are advised to wear a mask.
Cut the mask, a cross-section of the mask. There's a middle layer that has a filter. That filter is supposed to be able to pick particulate matter and bacteria and therefore stop you from inhaling the particulate matter or the bacteria. Then the third layer, inner layer, is the layer that absorbs, maybe if you are sweating or any secretions or any spit from you to the person maybe you are taking care of or the person you are talking to.
President Vladimir Putin is self-isolating after meeting a leading coronavirus doctor who has tested positive for COVID-19. President Putin visited Russia's main coronavirus hospital, Kommunarka, last Tuesday, where he shook hands with its head doctor, Denis Prosenko. TV footage from the visit showed that they neither wore protective kit. End of international news. Business news follows next.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. The police force in Lindi region has arrested 3 leaders from Joharan Commodities Limited, 3D and 8 Holdings Limited, following allegations of failing to pay 1.9 billion shillings for cashew they had bought during the 2019-2020 buying season.
To a farmer, this is not a small amount of money. This has affected over 200 farmers who have not been paid. You did not work together from the beginning. We had to look for you and write to you. The Cashew Nut Board wrote to you. I wrote to you. But you did not even want to come see the district, union, or regional leadership to even say you have encountered financial problems. Regional Commissioner, right now we plan on taking legal action, because if we used wisdom to give them time and spoke to them as well, but it failed, what follows is legal action so that justice is served.
The government in Shinyanga district, in collaboration with officers from the Ministry of Land, Housing and Settlement Development, has been able to identify chronic tax defaulters following the move by the government to appoint assistant land commissioners in every region.
We have visited this factory, which processes camel meat, and it is a good business. The investor is doing good work, but this factory has not paid taxes for over 5 to 7 years, and they owe 63 million shillings. That is a lot of money, which if paid can contribute to services provided by the government. Okay, we will pay in installments, but please help us so that we do not pay a penalty. Now we know, and you have shown us what we need to do. We will pay the debt.
The District Commissioner of Nyasa in Ruvuma region, Isabella Chilumba, has called on residents to grow teak trees instead of depending on cassava and fishing to grow their incomes.
If the government wanted to start a farm, we would have said so, and it would have followed its own procedures, but we are motivating you to plant trees. This project has a lot of funding from donors with the aim of helping residents of Nyasa to have an alternative to cassava, fruit farming or fishing. When we made the announcement to the residents, people were motivated and have gone towards the project. As I speak, 40 acres have been taken and people have begun planting.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
Welcome back. And in sports news, Tanzanian martial artist Yassini Rajabu plans to establish a wushu college in the country after teaching the sport in Dubai for a while.
Nitakaporudi nchini Tanzania nifungue shule kubwa ya kung fu ili kuwafunza sasa vijana Tanzania, kwa sababu nadhani 2021 au 22 tutakuwa na Olympic itakayofanyika huko duniani. Kwa hiyo sasa tungependa na sisi tuwakilishe nchi yetu vyema kupitia mchezo huu, lakini pia ni waombe wa Tanzania wenzangu tufuate maelekezi.
Robo players in the country have called for support to develop the sport so as to be able to participate in international competitions once the coronavirus pandemic ends.
Kwa gharama zetu, kwa kutumia akili zetu pamoja na walimu wetu.
We learned through our own means and our own trainers, Mr. Tamba and Mr. Kiunsi. They have given us the knowledge because they have been at the university for a long time. We took the knowledge and transmitted it to our fellow youth, and that is why now you can see the sport being played in different grounds.
The Belgian League has become the first major European competition to recommend ending its season with the current standings declared final because of the coronavirus outbreak. Here are more details.
Says Club Brugge will be awarded the title if the advice is confirmed at a General Assembly meeting on 15th of April. Brugge will also qualify for next season's Champions League. Brugge are 15 points ahead of second place Kent, with 1 game to go before the season-ending playoffs. The league management board has agreed it is unclear when the team training could resume and says it is very unlikely any games with fans attending could be played before 30th of June.
Tottenham forward Son Heung-min is hoping to carry out his mandatory 4-week national service in South Korea during football's coronavirus shutdown.
7-year-old traveled back to his homeland last week as he continues his recovery from a broken arm, but is waiting for the confirmation that the Premier League suspension will be extended beyond April 30th later this week. Son, currently in quarantine for the next 2 weeks after flying in from London last weekend, has to serve in the South Korean military for 4 weeks by law. He earned an exemption from the standard 21-month service in 2018 when he was part of the South Korean team that won the Asian Games. Spurs allowed Son time off for that tournament during the 2018-2019 season, and he will see this as a perfect opportunity to carry out his service without it impacting on his playing career.
And the Premier League and EFL have urged the Footballers Union to accept that players will have to take a pay cut and not just a deferral or their wages as their sport grapples with the enormous and unprecedented challenges presented by the COVID-19 crisis. Here's more on the story.
At a conference call held by senior executives from the leagues and the Professional Football Association yesterday, the Premier League's Executive Director Bill Bush is understood to have stressed the scale of the financial hit clubs are facing during the suspension of competitions. The potential shortfall includes £750 million in television money, which in effect covers the remaining games of this season, ticket and other matchday income, because even if this season can be finished, matches are almost certain to be played behind closed doors, and other revenues including from sponsorship. The EFL's TV deals are a fraction of the Premier League's £8 billion plus over 3 years, but that leaves the 71 clubs more reliant on matchday income.
And that's what ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.
ya bidhaa.
You can watch Capital News live on our social media accounts, YouTube Capital TV and Facebook Capital Television Tanzania from Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe and put notification on.
ITV, EATV, Capital TV, Radio 1, East Africa Radio na Capital Radio sasa zinapatikana kupitia satellite Interset 22 uelekeo 72.1 degree east C-band, frequency 3671 MHz, symbol